Hey,
Hi.
so it's so polarizing the subject of the vaccine right now.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking we're doing this video and there's gonna be even more polarization.
Yeah, because people like to be polarizing on our videos, don't they?
Yeah.
But, no, go on, what are you going to say?
So just laughing.
Okay. So, are we for or are we against I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist,
Mm.
and there are a lot of conspiracies going around when it comes to the vaccine, and a lot of people saying that the government are giving it to us to mutate us or to do
Get rid
whatever,
of us.
get rid of us or whatever. But my stance on that is, if they want to do that, they can do that anyhow. Think about the water supply. Could they not put things in the water supply? If they wanted to, give people something, could that not be an easy way to do it?
I guess so, but then you wouldn't have the consent of the people if you put it in water. And when you take the vaccine, you are doing it by your own free will. So,
So, like I said, I'm. I don't believe in I don't believe there are any conspiracy theories around this particular stage in the history of medicine. You
okay.
know, there've been many times in the past where the government has done shady things, like in the 60s where thousands of black people were sterilized without
Mm.
their knowledge and without their consent in the US. There's been many other cases, but in this specific instant, my only problem with it is that I don't think there's been enough testing and it's been rushed.
That's your only problem.
No, actually, that's my only one of two problems.
Okay, go on.
That it's been rushed, and also that you know how when Windows 10 first came out
Mm-hmm.
and how Microsoft were really pushing it onto people,
Yeah.
update now,
Yeah.
update, you must update now, it's for free. That's kind of how this feels right now with the vaccine.
Yeah, I completely agree. I find it very frustrating. I wouldn't have even like gotten myself so much into it if it wasn't for the media constantly telling you you have to get vaccinated. Even not only the media, workplaces are also like sending you emails to encourage you, and like I think or any kind of language like this, you have to be very careful because if it is a free will, I don't think you have the right to encourage me, because some people take that very seriously. It's not only your approval of your environment, like your peers,
Mm.
you're seeking, but if your organization that you're working for is encouraging you, it's like, oh, what it's like, and the media is encouraging you. These kind of places, I think, have to be neutral and give you both of the sides. But at the moment, I feel like there is only one side. You have to get the vaccine.
But do you not think that they may be encouraging? Well, I suppose it's all to do with their motivation as well. So do you not think their motivation for encouraging is because they want things to get back to normal and they want everyone to be safe? I don't necessarily think they've got a nefarious reason as to why they're encouraging people to do it.
Okay, well, first of all, what's the cost of that going back to normal if this is the only way to go back to normal? And second, I'm not saying it's a nefarious reason. I'm saying that you have to give people both of the facts for the two sides, rather than like making it the way they make it, because they themselves are probably not enough informed. And even if they are, like, you have to present everyone. It's like when you go to vote for something,
Hmm.
like the elections or something, you can't just, you have to I think the most correct thing is to go and research every party's manifesto and
Mm-hmm.
and see what people are saying, and then assess the situation. But what they're doing is really just, I don't think it's fair. I'm sorry.
When you say both sides, what do you mean? You mean
Like, should you have the vaccine or not? What are the pros and cons of having it?
okay? In your opinion, what would the cons be?
Okay, well, for example, for me personally, as somebody who hasn't given birth yet, I think it's one thing to take the risk of putting it on yourself and having side effects or long-term effects, short-term effects, any effects for you, for your own body. But if you unintentionally pass it on to your child,
Mm.
there is really nothing you can do. That's a responsibility and that's a risk that you take. And I think, if anything, I think people who haven't had children yet shouldn't really take it. That's my opinion. That's how I feel about my situation.
Okay. And before we did this, come to do this video, I actually just did a quick search on Google for medicine in the past. A few things came up. For example, there was a painkiller that was approved by the FDA in 1999 that led to the deaths of 60,000 people in the US. Painkiller called Vioxx, if that's right. In 2009, a vaccine for the flu was found to have caused narcolepsy, and that had to be recalled or whatever. 1998, a vaccine for preventing retrovirus or gastroenteritis was found to have caused infants to develop a condition where their bowels fold in on themselves.
So far, I mean, that's what I mean.
And in the 50s and 60s, 10 to 30% of all polio vaccines administered in the US were found to have contained simian virus, which is from the monkey cells that they used to synthesize the actual virus. So for me personally, I'm just petrified that things are being rushed. We thought about doing this video before they started mentioning things about clotting, for example. So this was something that's was on our mind for a while. But yeah, it's just, I'm all for it. I do want a good vaccine to come out because I would love things to get back to normal. But I just think this is being rushed a bit too much.
Yeah. The blood clotting is one thing, and I read another thing from, I think it was an American scientist, that the article was translated in Bulgarian, but there was some percentage of women who are developing lymph, basically those things in your breasts that the lymph, I don't know, what do you call them?
I think I know what you mean. It starts with lymph.
They lead to breast cancer.
And that was found as a result of the vaccine.
Well, yeah, that's what they say. I know that there probably is a lot of speculation of things like this, but I think you have to think about that. The vaccine has now been existing for a few months. Some part of the population has already been vaccinated. We know about countries like Israel where it's almost like compulsory everyone to get vaccinated. It's not even a, you want to or you don't want to. And I think results are starting to come out now. So even if they say, for the blood clotting, I watched the news and they were saying that it's normal for the percentage of people that have had it. It's normal, like for any other vaccine, there would be this kind of thing happening, or it's not more than the usual thing that they've predicted. But if things are coming out now, like 1 or 2 things now, only after how many months we've been vaccinating, only for a few months, how many more things are going to come out before people are able to take an informed decision? Because it is a risk. Like, you never think of the flu vaccine as a risk because they are so much more developed, even though you've read those cases where it's led to something bad. But now this is, I think it's just another whole other ball game.
Yeah, I think the key is to just try to be informed as much as possible. And I hate to be put in that camp of people who are conspiracy theorists or who are anti-vax, because I'm not any that at all. It's just this particular one just doesn't sit right with the speed that it's been put through. I agree with that. But let's see what the people say on the video. That's where the real information is going to be found.
Are you going to have it? Have you already had it? How do you feel? Have you felt anything? Because we've had friends that have had it, and some of them, literally almost like 50%, had very bad symptoms, and some of them felt nothing. So it's all interesting.
What do you guys think?